Hi everyone. Welcome again, and thank you so much for being here. From what Charity had mentioned, some of you here already have offers with us. Some people do not. So what I'm going to do is to go through our presentation, and I believe for even those who already have offers with us, you would also get one or two things that you do not already know about University of Dundee. So let me take you to Scotland. Okay, so where is Dundee? I mentioned earlier that I'll be taking you to Scotland. So Dundee is in Scotland. Quite a number of people have misconceptions about the location of Dundee, and this is why I like to start with highlighting where Dundee is actually located. We're not in England, we're not in Northern Ireland. As we all know that the UK is split into four, and Scotland is one of them, and we are in Scotland. So there's Wales, there's Northern Ireland, and there's England, and there's Scotland. University of Dundee is in Scotland, and Dundee is a town in Scotland. If you're thinking about the population in Dundee, it's quite a student-centric city. There are actually 2 universities in Dundee, and 1 in 7 persons would actually be a student. So you would have that student feel of being, on campus. Even when you walk around to town, to the city center, 1 in 7 persons that you see or come across is actually a student. One of the fun facts that I like to tell people about Dundee is, especially because I get a lot of conversations around, it's so cold in Scotland, am I going to survive? What am I going to do? And sometimes these are people who are also considering other countries like Canada. And I'm thinking Scotland is nowhere as close as Canada. But I'm happy to tell you that Dundee is actually tagged the sunniest city in Scotland. So if you're looking for where to get the most sun during the summertime, Dundee is the place to be. And how do you get to Dundee? There are several routes by which you can use to get to Dundee. The one I've used before, I'll share with you, and I'll also share other options with you. Some options are more expensive than the other, and I'll also be highlighting this to everyone. So to get to Dundee, if you are in Lagos, for example, or Abuja, quite what a number of people do is you can take British Airways to London. It's a direct flight, and then from London, you take a connecting flight to Edinburgh. From Edinburgh, you can either decide to get the train to Dundee, which is an hour, or you can get the coach, which is about an hour, 30 minutes, an hour, 40 minutes. What I've done is when I get to London, I change to Edinburgh, and then I get the coach to town, to Dundee. And it's very easy. As soon as you come outside the airport, the coach stand is directly in front of the airport. So it's not like you need to commute anywhere else or you need to walk somewhere far. Everything has been done in a way that it is seamless for you to get to Dundee. Other people may fly from London to Glasgow, and then just to let you know that from Glasgow to Dundee is 1 hour, 30 minutes. And some people always tell me, oh, but I have family in London. I want to stop over in London for a few days. Can I still get to Dundee from London? Yes, you can, but if you're using the train, it's going to be taking you about 6 hours. And I always encourage people to actually use the immigration in Edinburgh. It's a bit lighter, it's not as busy as London. And for some reason, I feel as if they're also friendlier, if I could say that. So this is the more expensive option. Other options to get to London, which is whereby students may opt for KLM, going through maybe Amsterdam, going through France. This is less expensive than British Airways or Virgin, but it's important to note that you will need a transit visa if you are going to go through the EU. So this is very important, and I'm sure the Jestone team, will be informing you about all of the different routes to be able to get to Dundee and ensuring that you have all the information that you need to ensure that there are no issues. But just to state it here that if you're going to be using KLM, Lufthansa, and the likes to get to Dundee, and you go through an EU zone, you would be required to get a transit visa, even though you already have a student visa to study in the United Kingdom. Other options that I much cheaper, and I highlight much cheaper than going through London, is using airlines like Emirates, Qatar. If you go through Doha, if you go through Dubai, and also some of these flights actually go through London, but it's just that the layover can be quite long. So just to let you know that it may be cheaper, but the layover is actually very long. Now, we felt it important to add this part, this slide in this presentation, and this is because whenever I go to like a place and I say I represent University of Dundee, and people are like, Dundee, like really Dundee? And we began to investigate, and we found out that Dundee actually doesn't mean a necessarily good word in Nigeria. And so we investigated, and we found out that a few years ago, not a few, quite a number of years ago, there was a football match between Dundee United and Nigeria. And Dundee United played woefully, to the point that the Nigerian team, and even the people who had gone there to watch the match, after they left, when people acted in a manner that maybe was slow, or whatever characters that the Dundee United team displayed, they'll be like, why are you acting like a Dundee? And this is how Dundee came about, being familiar with quite a number of Nigerians in a negative manner. But just to let you know that University of Dundee has no affiliation with what Nigerians think Dundee means. You have very, very smart people, obviously, coming through the university and graduating and doing great things. So that is not something that you have to worry about. So this is Dundee, and this is Slessor Square. For those of you who will be coming to study with us, you will be seeing this. Also, just to share some rankings with you, Dundee was actually ranked Scotland's best place to live. So not only do we have the sunniest city in Scotland, but we've actually been ranked best place to live. We've also been ranked most affordable place for students to live. We've also been ranked most fun place to be a student in Scotland, and second in the whole of the UK. Now, it's important to talk about the weather, because I feel like the weather is a lot of things quite a number of people have misconceptions about. So there are 4 types of weather in the UK. Spring happens between March, April, and May. So it's not really warm, but it's okay. You can carry maybe like a light jacket with you when you go out. Summer is when it's all nice and sunny, and that happens between June to August, and they're actually in the summer now. Temperatures go as high as 17 degrees. I know it may not sound as high as we have in Nigeria here, where it could be about 31, 32, but it is quite warm for us in Dundee. Autumn happens September to November, and temperatures can be between 8 degrees and 14 degrees. So this is when we begin to prepare for winter. You see all the leaves shedding, and winter happens from December to February, and it can go, it ranges around 5 degrees, 4 degrees, and it is cold. But if you're properly dressed, it's nothing that you have to worry about, by the way. Okay, this is what our campus looks like. One thing that I really like about the University of Dundee is that the campus is based in the city center. So a lot of you who would want to maybe go to the shops, even like when you're having breaks, when you're on campus, you want to go to the shops, you want to pop down to get to like the retail stores, you're able to do this, and everywhere is walkable. Everywhere is a walking distance. So from restaurants to cinemas, to where you can go grocery shopping or even shopping for clothes, everything is walkable because the campus is actually in the city center. Just to also let you know that 32% of international students actually are in Dundee. 32% of all the students are actually international students, and they come from 80 different countries. So it's not just Nigerians, although when we talk about Africa, Nigerians do dominate, but then we also have Ghanaians, we have Kenyans, we have people from Zimbabwe, Zambia, Egypt, and the like. For accommodation on campus, I'll be talking about that in more detail as we move along. But just to let you know that all the halls on campus for accommodation are all en suite. So you don't need to share a bathroom with any other student. You don't need to share a toilet. You don't need to share a bed space. The only thing that you'll be required to share is the living area with 7 other people and the kitchen. You will have your own cupboard where you would have a lock so you can store your grocery items, your food items, and you will also be sharing a fridge. Just to give you a rough idea about how many students we have on campus, we have roughly about 12,500 students on campus, and 32% of that number are actually international students from 80 different countries. Accommodation. So I had just mentioned accommodation on campus. I'm just going to be telling you some of the benefits of staying on campus. Even though I do not necessarily promote this, I do promote it for students who are coming for their undergraduate studies just because they're a bit younger. It is more expensive to stay on campus, hence why I do not necessarily promote it. But for students who are coming for postgrad, they're much older and able to get around, I would encourage staying outside campus as it is cheaper. In this time where the economy is dwindling with the inflation, I always try to provide students with information where to save money on several things. And these are one of the aspects whereby you can actually save money, not only on flights, by going through a longer route, but also on accommodation by staying off campus. But I'll encourage students who are a bit younger, 16, 17, maybe 18, coming to do their undergraduate. They had just, maybe finished WAEC or their foundation or A-levels, to please stay on campus if they can. What do you have on campus accommodation? For students who decide to stay on campus, your lecture halls are 5 minutes away from campus, only if you have lectures in the hospital. So these are for students who are probably doing nursing, medicine, dentistry, and some other courses. You may be required to have some of your lectures in the hospital, and some of you may also be having practicals that would require you to be at the hospital, and with that you will need to commute. Another good thing about the accommodation on campus is that it's 5 minutes walk away from the city center, from the shops, from the museums, and from the train station. So it's easy to get to places. The sports facilities and library are very, very close by. I mentioned earlier that all our flats are self-catering. So if you don't know how to cook, it's something that you may have to learn because we don't have any of our halls being catered flats. For people who may need support or welfare needs, they can get this on campus accommodation as well. You have 24-hour security. All your bills are inclusive, so it's not something that you need to think about. Rather, for accommodation outside campus, you will be required to sort out your bills yourself, such as electricity, gas, and the likes. Campus accommodation also comes with personal possession insurance. So if there's any theft or loss of your personal items, you have insurance to cover that. And again, you have super fast Wi-Fi that you have access to 24/7. But it is more expensive than staying outside campus. I'll probably share cost as we move along. Okay, so I'm now going to be talking about the faculties. For some of you who are here who may have offers to study with us already, we have the School of Business. I always like to talk about the School of Business because it is the faculty that has most students coming from Africa. So we see a lot of applications coming into our School of Business. And I guess it's because even when you're coming from a background that is non-business, you're able to still apply for a course under the School of Business. The School of Business, with most of your courses, you would actually be getting professional accreditations, which is professional certification, which is really, really good. Gives you that advantage when you're trying to look for a job once you graduate. We also have something called pagoda internships. So for most of you who have opted for a course under the School of Business, you may see that you may be selected, depending on how well you do, to go on this 6 to 8 week internship, which is either in China, Vietnam, or in Manchester. But just to let you know now that a lot of our students from Nigeria or Accra actually opt to go for the internships in Manchester due to the tedious process of securing a visa for China or Vietnam. And it's equally good. So just to let you know that for some of you under the business school, please do check if you have access to pagoda internships, and please do take advantage of it, because it's a game changer. You would have that work experience on your CV before you graduate. Some of the students who actually go on these internships are able to secure full-time jobs before they graduate, having a discussion with these employers if they've done very, very well. And one great thing about the School of Business is that they do not only have entries for September, but they actually have entries for September and January. We also have the School of Science and Engineering, which is absolutely amazing, where we have computer science. Data science and AI is quite popular right now. We're top 10 in the UK. So we may not necessarily be top 10 overall. I believe we're top 25 in the UK. But if you look at our individual courses, you would see that we're actually top 10 in the UK. And some courses were actually top 3, top 5. One of this is the School of Science and Engineering. We're top 10 in the UK. So for students who are looking to do computer science, advanced computer science, mechanical engineering, renewables, civil engineering, mathematics, physics, and the likes, you will be under the School of Science and Engineering. And one thing that I just want you to know is that only 1 of 5 universities in the UK where all our computer science and informatics research is ranked as world leading or internationally excellent. So there are only 5 universities in the UK that is classified or that is seen as world leading or internationally excellent, and University of Dundee is one of those 5. So that's something you should actually brag about if you've applied to be under the School of Science and Engineering. We also have the School of Health Sciences. This became very popular a few years ago for people opting to study things like nursing. We do have adult nursing, mental health nursing. We also have nursing and health, and we have pathways for people who may not necessarily come from a nursing background, but actually want to go to study nursing. And maybe when we go through the questions, some of these things may crop up, and I'll be able to give you further details on it. We're also top 10 in the UK for School of Health Sciences. And I believe for adult nursing, I think we're ranked number 2 in the UK. And for mental health nursing, we're ranked number 1 in Scotland. Just to let you know that for our nursing courses, we accept a 3rd class. As long as you have a degree, we accept a 3rd class for our nursing courses, whether it's a pre-registration route or the non-pre-reg route. We also have our law school. We offer, for most of the faculties that I have listed, we do offer them in bachelor's, postgrad, some of them masters in research, MRes, and also PhD. So don't think it's limited to what you may be seeing on the screen, which is like LLM right now. For law school, we do have bachelor's, MRes, and PhD as well. Some of our LLMs will actually accept people from various backgrounds, so you don't necessarily need to have studied law to be able to do an LLM, just to let you know. So if that's something that interests you, please do ask myself or any of the Jestone staff, and they'll be able to give you guidance on what you qualify for. For law as well, we're also top 10 in the UK. A lot of people ask me, why should I come and study at the University of Dundee? And one of the things that I like to highlight is employability. Having been in your shoes, it may be somewhat different. I left Nigeria right after my secondary school. I think as I was about 14, going on 15. I did my A-levels in the UK, and then I did university, did my master's, and then I began to work. And before I left Nigeria, there are three things that, was very important for myself and my parents in deciding where to study. And I believe it still applies till now. And those three things are quality education. I've been mentioning how we're highly ranked in most of our courses, how we're tagged world leading and internationally excellent, how some of the courses that you're able to enroll on at the University of Dundee will provide you with professional certifications attached to your degree. So those are the things that you should look out for. Another thing that I like to highlight is employability. For me, having known that my parents were going to be spending so much money, I wanted to be able to understand that once I graduate, I will be positioned in such a manner that I would easily secure a good job. So not just any menial job, but I'll be gainfully employed, maybe starting on a managerial role or like an analyst. And this is what we are very passionate about at the University of Dundee. We have a dedicated and committed career service who would help you secure very good jobs, whether it's part-time while you're still studying or once you graduate. The great thing about the University of Dundee career service is the fact that you actually have access to them for life. So even when you graduate, 5 years down the line, maybe you move to another country, you're looking for a job. If you contact the career service, they will do all they can to be able to provide you with the vacancies available for the kind of jobs that you want to apply for, and to be able to also provide you with support along the way in things like CV writing, cover letters, even prepping you for interviews and the likes. Once you get to University of Dundee, you're able to have access to master classes that helps you understand how to present, how to engage with employers, and how to even get into volunteering to be able to boost your CV as well. So this is something that I like to highlight to students, not to take for granted. Once you get to University of Dundee, buddy up with the career service, because they're one of the keys to you ensuring that you get that job that you desire to go into. So living cost. Remember, I had mentioned how the accommodation on campus was much more expensive than accommodation outside campus. So just to let you know now is if you are looking to stay on campus, I will be asking you to budget about £800 per month. But outside campus, you can actually budget half of that. A one bedroom in Dundee, you can get it for about £450. A two bedroom, meaning that if you stay with somebody else, it will be £650, but that will be split into two. So it's cheaper when you begin to share with other people. A three bedroom, you would usually get it for £850, £900, and each person would have to pay £300. £350. So this is the range. And I also ask people to budget, other expenses for like your transport, for your food per month. We've put your transport, depending on where you actually secure accommodation outside campus, you will probably need to budget transport for about £80 per month. Food about £70 per month, and that's not you eating out every day. Just disclaimer, £70 is if you're getting groceries, cooking for yourself. Maybe once in a while you have the fast food that is not as expensive as going into a restaurant that offers like fine dining. For people who like to do extracurricular activities, maybe visiting museums or just going around, we say you can budget about £40, £50. Also budget about £50 per month to cover your water, gas, electricity bills, and then about £30 for your snacks. But, I believe that the Jestone team will tell you that although it might be cheap, I don't want to use the word cheap because right now everything's expensive. Although it might be considered affordable to live in Dundee compared to other cities, it's important for us to highlight the fact that there is a particular amount that the UKVI requires you to have in your account, regardless of whether you'll be spending less. So it's important to always go with that figure. But I'm just trying to let you know that you may not even have to spend up to that figure that UKVI is requiring you to have once you come to University of Dundee. So what kind of support do we have for students? I've mentioned one of them being our career service. We also have the Academic Skills Center, where you can have drop-in sessions in the library. You have access to online resources where you can get like short videos on how to improve your skills on referencing. Referencing is a big thing in the UK. I studied in the UK, and it's just important for me to highlight this, that they take plagiarism very, very seriously. So it's important for you to know how to reference, so that some of your words or some of the things that you may have taken from, another writer may not be seen as plagiarism. They take this very seriously. So please learn all of these skills required for you to do well once you come to study at Dundee. You can also book one-to-one appointments with a tutor if you're having challenges in maybe like a particular topic or a particular course you don't have understanding. You're able to get one-to-one appointments. If you're unable to ask questions in class, maybe you're shy or you don't want it to seem like you're taking the class back, this would really help you in this one-to-one skills with a tutor. You also have a range of face-to-face or online workshops that you have access to. So please definitely get, affiliated and get accustomed with the Academic Skills Center. It would benefit you greatly. Let me just mention some of the topics that may be covered at the Academic Skills Center. So things like essay writing, your dissertation, like I mentioned, grammar, page referencing, how to plan, time management, understanding and completing assessments. For most of you in your courses, you would understand that assessments that are being given to you would actually contribute towards the marks of your final degree. So it's important for you to take it very seriously. How to present, for anyone who may have issues, with English language, all of these resources are available to you at the Academic Skills Center. Now, let's talk about entry requirements. I know this may not apply or benefit those who already have offers with us, but it's just important for me to cover it for others who are on the call looking to apply to study with us. Generally, this is not cast in stone because sometimes we do have unique cases, but just to highlight that generally for our undergraduate entry requirements, there are different pathways by which you can use to secure admission at the University of Dundee. One of them being you can use your A-levels, another being you can use your foundation, as long as it's accepted based on the curriculum that they offer, and you can also use your WIAC. If you're using your A-levels, we look for BBB to ABB. Another thing that I didn't mention was your International Baccalaureate, IB. If you're using that, we're looking at 30 points with 555. For WIAC, if you're going to use your WIAC for direct entry into our undergraduate course, we will be looking at all Bs and at least one A in your WIAC. Because you've not done foundation, you haven't done A-levels or IB, we would require you to have at least all Bs and one A. And another thing is that if you will be using your WIAC to gain entry into the University of Dundee, your course will be 4 years and not 3 years because you're using your WIAC. For PGT, so this is postgraduate masters, for most of our courses, we ask for a second class lower, 2.5 GPA over 4, or 3.0 over 5, or 4.0 over 7. It's important for me to highlight certain courses that I know from the top of my head that will not accept a second class lower. One of them, public health. Public health, you will have class upper to be able to seek your offer to study with us. Also for nursing, I mentioned earlier that you can use a third class to apply for nursing at the University of Dundee, whether it's the pre-reg route or it's the nursing and health. English language requirements. We get a lot of questions around this. What are your English language requirements? Just to let you know, the good news is that for most of our courses, we will accept your WIAC or NECO in place of an English test, such as IELTS. As long as you have a C6 and above in your WIAC or NECO, your grade will be accepted in place of IELTS. For those students who your WIAC is over 10 years, and maybe some of you here are on the call where you have received an offer but is still asking you to go and do an English test, please, all you need to do is provide an MOI a medium of instruction, a letter from your university stating that you have been taught and assessed in English. That with your WAEC C6 and above or NECO C6 and above will be accepted in place of IELTS. So for those who fall under this category whereby, you have a C6 in WAEC, and for that particular course, we do accept WAEC, and you've been asked to go and take an English test, all you need to do is get a medium of instruction letter, send it to us with your scratch card, I believe, and we would waive off the IELTS and take your WAEC or NECO. Courses such as nursing will not accept WAEC, unfortunately. You will need to sit IELTS or any other English test that we accept. So for nursing, for social work, those two courses, I can confirm that they will not accept WAEC or NECO in place of an English test. So you will need to sit any of our accepted English tests for those courses. And for those courses, you would need, this is the English test for nursing or social work, you will need a 7.0 overall, just to let you know. Okay, let's talk about tuition fees. And I'm getting to the point that I know quite a number of you who have not yet applied to us want to hear about scholarships, especially with everything that is happening right now. I can totally relate. And I'm very proud that, I believe University of Dundee actually have one of the best scholarship offerings right now. Across when you compare us to other universities, especially when you look at where we stand in rankings, what we're offering is absolutely great. So tuition fees for our 2024-25 session for undergraduate and postgraduate ranges from 21,900 to 26,600 without scholarships. So this is our fees generally, but this is without scholarships. Just to let you know, that most of our courses will actually fall under the 21,900 range without scholarships. When you have a course that you're applying to that may require lab work, maybe such as, biomedical sciences, computer science, some engineering courses that would require lab work, your fees will fall in the range of 24,300 to 26,600. Before I talk about scholarships, we require a deposit of 5,000, and I have received a whole lot of questions around this, asking, the deposit is really high. We've looked at some other schools and theirs is much lower, but I don't think they have a full picture. Yes, I agree it is high, especially considering everything that is happening in the economy. I empathize with everyone who is looking to study abroad in this season. It is challenging, and we know that, we see that, but trust that we have put measures in place to make it easy for you. Once I speak about scholarships and share more understanding of how things work with the deposit, you will see that we're actually putting you in a position where you will be at ease once you enroll at the University of Dundee. The 5,000 deposit that we ask for can actually be paid in 2 or 3 installments. So it's not something that you have to pay at once. The only thing is that you have to pay it before the deadline deposit so that your CAS, the confirmation of acceptance studies document, could be issued to you and you can apply for your visa on time. One of our USPs is that you can pay your balance after your deposit in 7 installments after you enroll. So for example, I'm going to talk about scholarships very soon, but for example, your cost that you've applied for is 21,900. Scholarships available right now, you can get up to 7,500, but most people get the 6,500 one. So I'll be using 6,500 as an example. So if you've received a scholarship of 6,500, and your course fees is 21,900, and this is automatic, by the way. You don't need to apply for it. You don't need to write any essay to get it. And as long as you fulfill the entry requirement for the course that you've applied for, you will get the automatic scholarship and it will be applied to your offer letter. So we take off 6,500 off 21,900. Your fees now comes to 15,400. Out of the 15,400, we require you to make a deposit payment of 5,000. It means that by the time you pay that 5,000, you are eligible to receive your cash documents that you need to apply for your visa. And the balance payment now comes to 10,400. This balance payment of 10,400, we would allow you paid in 7 installments once you enroll at the university physically. And it doesn't start immediately you enroll. We actually give you a month to actually settle in, get into your classes, get accustomed and affiliated with the environment. And then a month after you enroll, the first installment is required to be paid. So when you look at other universities, they may give you a lower deposit of maybe 3,000, 2,000. But when you think about it, a lot of them are asking you to either pay 50% of your fees by the time you enroll, or a particular amount before they actually enroll you after you've paid that deposit. But we understand that the economy right now is not necessarily favorable. So we put these measures in place to make it a little bit easier and just show you how open we are and how we value our international students. So like I touched lightly on, scholarships available. You can get up to 7,500. So for students who are applying with a first class, they will be getting the 7,500. And for undergraduate studies or for students who are doing a master's that goes beyond 1 year, scholarships are actually applied every year of your study. It's not limited to the first year alone. So for example, if you come in the first year and you're eligible for the 7,500 scholarship, the second year you get 5,000. For UG, the third year you get another 5,000. If you're getting the 6,500 scholarship in the first year, you would get 4,000 in the second year, 4,000 in the third year for UG. So this is our scholarship. It's actually been split into 2. Initially, we were only offering £4,000, which is the Vice Chancellor's Africa Scholarship, or the Global Excellence Scholarship, which is the £5,000 one. But when we saw how the economy was and we didn't want anything to basically limit or hinder students who really truly desire to study with us from coming, we then introduced the Africa Community Scholarship of 2,500. This is why the total scholarship one can have access to is either 6,500 or 7,500, as these 2 scholarships have been merged, and they are all automatic. How to apply? You can either apply to study with us, on our portal. For those who are applying for UG, I understand that UCAS might be closed right now, but we actually have an application portal where you can apply directly for UG for the University of Dundee. Also, a lot of people may also wait for clearing. You can do that as well. For PGT, it's through our application portal. But I always advise students, it is better for you to use an agent such as Jestone to make your applications, and they do it for free. Our turnaround time is usually 3 to 4 working days, as long as you've uploaded all the necessary documents for us to determine if a decision can be made on your offer. But just to let you know that some courses may have different requirements, such as Masters by Research courses and such as PhD courses. And that is the end of my presentation. I hope it was very helpful. I'm very happy to take any questions that anyone may ask. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for listening. Over to you, Charity.
Thank you so much for this powerful session that you just took us on. Thank you so much. So before I continue, please, if you have any questions, kindly send in your questions into the comment box. As I mentioned earlier, please send in your questions to the chat box. And then I also mentioned earlier that we have students on ground, we have offer holders, we have interested applicants who are tuned into the session. So you all be attended to by Halima or by your Jestone assigned advisor today. So now, just to take a summary of what Halima touched on, for those of us who are just joining in, those who came late, please, I would like to take us just through what Halima spoke on. Halima touched on from when students are departing Nigeria, the airlines to use, the airports they can land in when they arrive UK, the weather in UK, and of course we learned an interesting fact about Dundee. It's Scotland's best place to live and the most fun place to be in the UK. Halima also touched on the campus, which has students from 80 different countries, the accommodation in Dundee, how to save money while in school, and she also spoke about the courses offered at the University of Dundee, the application requirements, cost of living, proof of English, which of course you can use your WAEC or your NECO. It's a minimum of C6. She spoke on WAEC result requirements for undergraduate students, postgraduate students requirements, which is the minimum of a 2-2. She also spoke on third class. You can, of course, apply to study with a third class for nursing. She spoke about tuition discounts, available scholarships at the university, and so much more was all she touched about on. So I don't know if we still have any more people sending in their questions. So I'm just going to give a break of 1 minute for anybody who has questions to send in their questions, so that we are going to take the Q&A session after this very short break. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Amara. I'm a master's student in psychology, and today I'll be showcasing my day in life as a student writing her dissertation. Oh, before I forget, as also Jestone Education Ambassador in ARU. Okay, let's go. Since my project has been approved, the first thing to do is to set my study on Gorilla as well as Sona in order to start my recruitment for my data collection. I'm going to show you around my school, a glimpse of it. Just like my school, Jestone Education won Best African Agent of the Year. Can you beat that? They have 99% study visa success rates, just like mine. If it wasn't successful, I won't be here. Application and study visa processing for UK is free. Of course, I told you before now that I didn't pay any money for the processing. So let me reintroduce myself. For ARU, International Digital Student Ambassador, as well as Jestone Education Ambassador. I love the moving train. I also went to the school gym. As you can see, I was removing my wig in one of the videos. Of course, a fine girl is still a fine girl.
Okay, we are welcome back from the short heard from the video that just played. Jestone won the Best African Agents of the Year award from UEA in this year 2024. So when you trust Jestone for your application process, your visa processing, you're rest assured that we are the best and we deliver the best for you. As I also mentioned earlier, your admission application process as well as your study visa processing to study in the UK is going to be done free of charge for you by your Jestone assigned advisor. So now I'm going to start taking the questions so that Halima can help us with the answers. So I'm going to start with a question from Becca. She says, I have a BSc in computer science from Benin Republic and I apply for Masters of Research, and is £5,000 the minimum tuition deposit? Halima, over to you, please.
All right. So the first question was using a degree certificate from Benin Republic, if I got that correctly. Unfortunately, you would not be able to use that to apply for a master's directly. At the moment, we do not accept the degree certificates for a master's at the University of Dundee. And regarding the question about the deposit, yes, 5,000 pounds is the minimum deposit that can be paid. But I know quite a number of students actually pay above that before they leave for the University of Dundee, because they don't want the burden on them to be a lot once they're studying. But 5,000 is the minimum deposit that would make you eligible to be able to receive your CAS documents that you need to apply for your visa. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Halima. The next question is from Mobo. I have a degree in communications and I'm currently a software developer. I've been working as an engineer for about 3 years. Can I take a master's in computer science? So the person studied communications, currently a software developer, and has been an engineer for 3 years. Wow. And then the person wants to know if he or she can take a master's in computer science.
For this student, I would suggest that they apply for the MSc Computer Science Conversion course. If they can do computer science, but they're unable to do advanced computer science because they don't have a background in computer science. But he or she can definitely apply for MSc Computer Science, but the conversion course, and they will come out with a degree in MSc Computer Science. So basically, this degree is for people who do not come from like a computer science background, engineering background.
Do you have courses in accounting or auditing? Master's courses?
Yes, we do. We do have courses in accounting. We do have courses in accounting and finance, and we also have MSc accountancy. MSc accountancy, I'll just touch on this very quickly. One of the courses that does not require you to, or not one of the only course that I'm aware about that you do not need a degree to apply to it, and it's a master's. The only thing that you need to have is, a professional certification in accounting. So if you have ICANN, ACCA, ICAEW, or any of those professional certifications that we accept, you can do MSc accountancy, and that is one of our cheapest courses, but you don't have access to scholarships. It's £10,900, I believe, for MSc accountancy.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, can one work while studying? Yes, you can work while you study. And then, of course, when school is on break, you can work full time. However, when school is in session, you're only allowed to work part time. So the next question here is, I have a third class in mass communication. How do I go about a master's program? So I think I'm just going to take that. Please reach out to your Jestone assigned advisor to help with that. However, Halima, if you want to just chip in here, because of the third class, I think the person is concerned about the third class.
Yes, for most of our courses, we do not accept a third class. The only courses that I'm aware of that we would accept a third class is for nursing, and the other one is MSc accountancy. MSc accountancy, if you have a third class and you have a professional certification such as ACC or ICANN, we would accept it. But for most of the courses, they wouldn't accept a third class, unfortunately.
Okay, thank you. So Bright, you can please reach out to your Jestone assigned advisor. We have other options that we can apply for you so that you can put in your application with your third class. So I have a question. What master's programs are available for Masters of Research?
So the things that we have different, I don't want to use the word streams, but we have different levels of Masters by Research. So can the person please confirm, are you asking for Masters by Research that would allow you bring independence, so I know what information to share that will benefit you?
So yes, I think you should touch on that. The Masters of Research for those who want to travel with independence.
Okay. So these courses that I'm about to list are the only courses that would allow you come independence. So we have Masters by Research in Medicine, Masters by Research in Law, Masters by Research in Geography, Masters by Research in Environmental Science, Masters by Research in Forensic Science and Human Identification, in Forensic Science, Masters by Research in Human Identification and Anatomy, and then Masters by Research in Art and Design. All of these courses will allow you bring independence. But if you need further information, please reach out to one of the Jestone team and they'll be able to share more information with you on how to apply for these courses. You need to ensure that you qualify for them. For most of them, they're asking you for a second class upper, or if you have a second class lower, then you should have a master's to be able to qualify for them. And you must come from a relevant background to be able to do research in these courses. For all of the courses that I just listed, yes, you can come in with dependents. Thank you.
Thank you, Halima. So we have questions asking about English, proof of English. So you can use your WAEC or your NICO results to apply as your proof of English as far as you have a minimum of C6. Please, a minimum of C6, but you can use your NICO and your WAEC to apply. I have a question here saying, is there service charge attached or free? No, we're not going to charge you for your application and your visa processing. We're going to do that free of charge. So there's no service charge applied. Then I also have a question here saying, how much is the total tuition fee and how does the pay go? So the tuition is dependent on the course you're studying. So please, your Jestone assigned advisor, please, is going to talk with you about that. So you let the person know the exact course you want to study, and then they'll give you the tuition, the discounts available to you, and then the pay, you can pay in up to 7 installment payments. Of course, when you get to school, you're going to spread that payment accordingly. All of this information will be given to you when you speak with your Jestone advisor. So I have a question. I have BSc in accounting. Is there any related course for supply chain management? Halima, please.
We do have management courses, but we don't have supply chain. We do have different streams. For this person asking the question, please reach out to the Jestone team and they'll send you the link to the relevant courses under management, but I'm not sure we have supply chain. No.
Okay, thank you, Halima.
Just to let you know that the business school, for their marketing courses, for their business courses, for their management courses, you can come from any background as long as you have a second class lower. You can come from any background and you would get an offer to study with them.
Okay. So a lot of the questions I'm seeing here actually is a repetitive question, but I will just take some of them before we move on, because Halima has people who are presently in the office that she needs to attend to. So please, in case your question has been answered, so probably I didn't get to read your question, but someone asked a similar question to yours and then Halima has been able to answer them, kindly please oblige us, and then we're not going to read all the questions that look alike or that seem alike. Thank you. I have a degree in educational management, which I want to do my master's. Please, what intake can I apply for? And I would like to know if the school requires proficiency in English, because I don't have that. So as I said earlier, you can apply with your WAEC or your NECO. So if you have one of these two results, you can use that result to apply, and you can apply for the September intake. So any question about tuition, please reach out to your Jestone advisor. The tuition that is specific to your course will be sent to you, and your discount you qualify for will also be sent to you. So somebody says they have a BSc in accounting education with years of experience as an accountant or healthcare assistant. Okay, so I don't know what the question here is. You're asking for the available programs in Emirates. Okay, so those have been provided by Halima earlier. Somebody's asking if they can get a fully funded PhD program in social work, and if not, is it the same 7,500 scholarship, and what are the other benefits?
Did you say a PhD?
PhD program in social work.
So we do have a PhD in social work, but our scholarships do not apply to research courses. So scholarships are not available for Masters by Research and PhD courses, only taught courses. And we don't have a full scholarship available. but the fees range are the same, the deposits the same, the flexible payments the same.
Okay, thank you. Someone is concerned, I think they have an arts background, but they want to study nursing, and the experience they have is an assistant nursing.
Okay, so if they have a degree in art, they can apply for our pre-registration nursing courses, either in adult nursing or mental health nursing. So adult nursing and mental health nursing for students who do not come from a nursing background will take you 3 years, and that is the course that you'll qualify for. We have quite a number of students who do not come from a nursing background trying to go into nursing, and this is the route that they use. You actually become a registered nurse by the time you graduate.
Okay, thank you, Halima. I think I'm just going to take a few questions before we go. Okay, there is a 6K scholarship and also a 2,500 scholarship for African applicants. Does that mean the total scholarship is £8,500?
No, like I mentioned earlier, the normal scholarships we offer are 4,000 or 5,000, and then the Africa Community Scholarship is 2,500. So depending on if you qualify for the 4,000 or 5,000, we will then add that to the 2,500. So it comes to 6,500 or 7,500. The only time that you may be able to get 7,000 in total or 8,000 is if you opt for the alumni scholarship, which is if you have a sibling, a parent, or somebody who actually studied at the University of Dundee, and you have their, there's an alumni certificate that we give to all graduates. If you can provide that, it's for 3,000, but you can't combine it with the 2,500 and the 4,000. You can combine it with the 4,000 or 5,000. So some people get 7,000 or 8,000.
Thank you, Halima. I think based on what we have here, most of the questions have been answered in one way or another. If you're asking for a fully funded scholarship, no. However, there are tuition discounts, as you just spoke on now. You can get 6,000, 6,500, 7,000, or 8,000 tuition discounts from University of Dundee. So if we don't have any more questions, okay, I have a question here. How is the balance shared in 7 installments? So I think this person is asking after enrollment. Now, 7 installment payments, how will they go about that?
Okay, so the example I had given earlier, for example, if your course fees is 21,900 and you've been offered a scholarship of 6,500, it means that the fees that you require to pay to us has now come to 15,400. You pay a deposit of £5,000. It makes your balance 10,400. The 10,400 is what's split in 7 installments. And once you enroll in Dundee, for example, if you come in September, we will begin asking for the first payment in October.
Okay, thank you, Halima. So please, you can check the comment box, details of Jestone offices, as well as phone numbers you can contact from our various offices. We have offices in Abuja, Lagos, and Uyo. Our Abuja office is 42 West Crescent, Abacha Estate, behind Abuja Continental Hotel, Wuse Zone 4. Our Lagos office is located at RBZ Court, 16 Karamobi Ajike Street, behind Maryland Mall, Anthony in Lagos. Then our Uyo office is in Suite F22A in Ibom Tropicana Mall, Udoma Avenue. So the numbers are also attached here, so please check the comment box or the locations of our offices and the numbers you can contact to reach out to members of our office. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. Have a beautiful and wonderful day. We can't wait to put in your applications to study at the University of Dundee through Jestone Education. Have a great day.
My name is Theodora, and I studied at the University of South Florida, where I got my master's in global sustainability, and now I currently work at an energy consulting firm. I am very happy, very glad that I chose Jestone Education to help me on my journey to actualize my career dreams, because they really were the best, from my visa applications to my travel and up until my graduation, to be honest. So I I definitely implore you to trust Jestone today, reach out, and they would help you actualize your dreams too.